I think they
Don't
still
say it
do.
louder.
There's a million reasons why we're not.
Good evening, everyone. Mark, would you lead us in a prayer?
Let's pray together. Lord, we thank you for a new year, for new opportunities, for new hopes, new dreams. And Lord, we think of what we would like for our city to be in the new year. And I pray for these men and women who give of their time to serve. And we pray you would bless them for their service. And Lord, the prophet Jeremiah tells us to pray for the prosperity of the city where we are, because if it prospers, we too will prosper. So Lord, we do pray for peace, for prosperity. Lord, for these tonight to have wisdom and discernment, to do the right thing, the just thing, the compassionate thing. And we ask that in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. Steve, would you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to wish everyone a healthy, happy, and prosperous 2019.
I like the prosperous part.
You like the prosperous? You don't have the health, you're not going to be prosperous, so health is first. First item is a consent agenda. Consider approval of the minutes from the December 3rd and the December 17th meetings. Are there any questions?
Consent agenda be approved, sir.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? There are no public hearings, no acknowledgements or special presentations tonight. There are 12 reports from various boards, commissions, and departments. Are there any questions on those 12? If not, moving on to old business, we have a pretty big agenda here. The first is an ordinance annexing 1.6 acres, Old Highway 66. James?
Thank you. So each of the three cases I'll present tonight will be final readings, and they'll consist of short summaries. So I wanted to let people know where they can find more information on the cases. One way is to go to rollacity.org, and you can find the full staff reports there. You can also go to Rolla Channel 16's video or website and watch the old meetings or their YouTube video, or their YouTube channel, sorry. The first case is RCDC's request for the city of Rolla to annex the property delineated here in red, as you can see, and to zone it M2. RCDC is the acronym for Rolla Community Development Corporation. This property is located in Phelps County, approximately 150 feet northwest of the intersection of Old Highway 66 and a High Point Industrial Park Drive. This 1.6 acre parcel, known by its assessor account number of 3356.03, is adjacent to three other RCDC-owned properties. The approval of this proposal will permit the subject parcel to be similarly zoned to surrounding parcels, which consolidated together would create readily developable industrial site. There are two criteria of annexation of the annexation proposal must meet. There are two state criteria for a piece of land to be annexed. One is that the annexation is reasonable and necessary to the proper development of the city, and the other is for the city to be able to furnish normal municipal services. We already went over the elements of this analysis, and so we'll skip those specifics, and we will move on to the zoning analysis. There were several elements of the zoning analysis that were explored at the last meeting, which the council can take into consideration when deciding if the zoning criteria have been met. One noteworthy aspect of the analysis is that while at one time it appeared that the subject property may have been an ideal location for commercial uses associated with off-ramp traffic, which is most likely why it was given a future land use designation of community commercial, there are now strong indications that the property may be more or equally suitable for industrial development. Thus, a Flume amendment changing the designation to industrial may be an appropriate action in the future. No official comments from the public have been submitted to this department. However, the president of the RCDC spoke at both the last council meeting and the P&Z meeting, answering questions pertaining to the proposal, In addition, the fire chief acknowledged that the fire department could provide service to this parcel. Unanimously, the Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval of this proposal, and the action requested from the City Council is to conduct the final reading of this proposal and to approve, deny, or conditionally approve this proposal. And that's it.
Thank you. Any questions for James? If not, can we have the final reading?
An ordinance approving the annexation of a 1.68 acre parcel identified with the Phelps County Assessor's account number of 3356.03, the designation of said parcel as the Heavy Manufacturing District M2 on an official zoning map of the City of Rolla, RCDC.
Move proposed ordinance pass.
Second.
Motion made in second. Roll call vote, please.
Everly,
Yes.
Woolley,
Yes.
Murphy,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Hines,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Henry,
Yes.
Crowd,
Yes.
Schott,
Yes.
Roder,
Yes.
11 A's.
Ordinance is approved. Next item is an ordinance approving the final plat of High Point West, number 2.
Thank you. The next case is a proposal to subdivide 2 lots into 4 lots, and the subject lots are located to the west and south of the west end of Perot Boulevard in the northeastern section of Rolla. RCDC is the applicant again, and as one can see here, the current configuration of the land is delineated here in the red and consists of Lot 5 and Lot 6 of High Point West number 1. The subdivision is being proposed in order to sell off a piece of land to Ameren for the purpose of building a power station. Because Lot 3 and Lot 4 here, and Lot 2 and Lot 3, of the proposed subdivision lack frontage, an easement that is partially paved to provide access to municipal services will be provided, and those lots will be restricted to only non-residential uses. There was, we changed, at the last minute, RCDC requested to change the names of the lots. They thought it would be more logical to change the names of the lots as indicated here at the bottom of the screen. So Lot 4 became Lot 5, Lot 3 became Lot 6, Lot 1 became Lot 7, and Lot 2 became Lot 8. The notes on the bottom of the plat were adjusted accordingly to make sure that they are consistent with those changes. And I have copies of the whole plat if you need to see those. And so no protest petitions or public comments have been filed to the department. Unanimously, the Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval of this proposal, and the action requested from the City Council is to conduct the final reading of the proposed ordinance that would approve the final plat of High Point West number 2. And that's it.
Any questions for James? If not, final reading, please.
An ordinance approving the final plat of High Point West number 2, which is a minor subdivision plat that subdivides Lot 5 and Lot 6 of the final plat of High Point West number 1 into 4 lots. High Point West number 2.
Proposed pass.
Second.
Motion made in second. Roll call vote.
Hines,
Yes.
Roder, Williams,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Murphy,
Yes.
Schott,
Yes.
Crowd,
Yes.
Woolley,
Yes.
Everly,
Yes.
Henry,
Yes.
11 A's.
Ordinance is approved. Next item is an ordinance approving the vacation of a utility easement.
Thanks. Thank you. The last proposal of the night also involves land owned by the RCDC. The proposal is to vacate an easement that runs along Lot 6 of the High Point West subdivision number 1. The easement was acquired by RMU as a part of an electric asset purchase about 10 years ago. Currently, RMU does not have any assets located on this portion of the easement. In addition, the easement must be vacated for Ameren to have full use of the subject parcel and to construct their future improvements. And it's delineated here in red. So the action requested from the City Council is to conduct the final reading of this proposal and to approve or deny an ordinance that would vacate said section of said easement. And that's it.
Any questions from James? If not, final reading.
An ordinance approving the vacation of a utility easement being a fraction part of the south half of Lot 1 of the northwest quarter of Section 30, Township 38 North, Range 7 west of 50 p.m., Rolla, Phelps County, Missouri, City of Rolla.
Move proposed ordinance pass.
Second.
Motion made in second. Roll call vote.
Schott,
Yeah.
Jones,
Yes.
Williams, Hines,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Woolley,
Yes.
Roder,
Yes.
Henry,
Yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Everly,
Yes.
Murphy,
Yes.
11 ayes.
Ordinance is approved. Next item is an ordinance approving a technical service agreement between the city and Phelps County Emergency Services Board.
Good evening. In the packet tonight is the final reading for the contract reviewed the last meeting. It has been amended to reflect the date change that council proposed. This contract is to expire December 31st, 2019, pending further review for future contracts. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Stephanie? If not, final reading.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor of City of Rolla, Missouri to execute on behalf of the City of Rolla, Missouri, a technical assistance contract between the City of Rolla, Missouri and the Phelps County Emergency Services Board.
Move proposed ordinance passed.
Second.
Motion made in second, roll call vote.
Young,
Yes.
Murphy,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Hines,
Yes.
Woolley,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Henry,
Yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Roder,
Yes.
Schott,
Yes.
Amberly,
Yes.
11 ayes.
Ordinance is approved. Next item is similar. It's an ordinance approving a technical services agreement with Edgar Springs Rural Fire District.
This again is the final reading from the contract that was reviewed at the last meeting. It has also been amended to expire December 31st, 2019, pending further contracts, and I'd be happy to answer any question.
There's no questions. Final reading, please.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor of City of Rolla, Missouri to execute on behalf of the City of Rolla, Missouri, a technical assistance contract between the City of Rolla, Missouri and the Edgar Springs Rural Fire Protection District.
Second.
Motion made in second, roll call.
Murphy,
Yes.
Henry,
Yes.
Woolley,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Hines, Young,
Yes.
Jones, Everly,
Yes.
Roder,
Yes.
Schott,
Yes.
Crow,
Yes.
11 ayes.
Ordinance is approved. Next item is an ordinance amending section 27-92 relating to parking. Aaron?
So the property owner at 910 West 10th Street, Missouri, S&T, has requested no parking zone be added on the north side of 10th Street along their property for safety concerns pulling out of their driveways. It's the same we talked about last time. Request on read night this time. Any questions?
There's no questions for Darren. Final reading.
An ordinance amending section 27-92 of the general ordinances of the City of Rolla, Missouri, known as the Code of the City of Rolla, Missouri, relating to parking.
Move proposed ordinance passed.
Second.
Motion made in second, roll call vote.
Williams,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Schott,
Yes.
Woolley,
No.
Murphy,
Yes.
Henry,
Yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Roder,
Yes.
Everly,
Yes.
Hines,
Yes.
10 ayes and 1 nay.
Ordinance is approved. Next item is an ordinance amending section 27-118 of the code relating to parking on 8th Street.
So at the last council meeting, we requested that the previous for this be amended to provide one parking spot for a loading zone. Map is attached depicting that. So we're requesting final reading of the ordinance making that change. Any questions?
If there's no questions, final reading.
An ordinance amending section 27-118 of the general ordinances of the City of Rolla, Missouri, known as the Code for City of Rolla, Missouri, related to parking.
Move proposed ordinance passed.
Second.
Motion made in second, roll call.
Henry,
Yes.
Woolley,
No.
Murphy,
No.
Williams,
No.
Hines,
Yes.
Roder,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Everly,
Yes.
Crab,
Yes.
Schott,
Yes.
Young,
No.
6 ayes and 5 nays.
Or, you said yays, right?
6 yes.
Yes, okay. Ordinance is approved.
7 approved the ordinance.
Oh,
I thought it was a 7-4 vote. Was it, did you get 5 nays? I had 4. Can we check those?
the yeses, please raise your hand. 7
Yeah,
yeses.
7-4.
Okay.
You want to check it just for your record? We
Yeah,
can
did I
say
get
yes.
in?
Put the yeses back up.
If I can do it that way as
It'd be
easily.
easier to
Call Nate.
For her, the roll
So you
call.
count 4 instead of 7.
Well, right,
gotta
she
get-
she's
you gotta
gotta
get the
check
exact
what your
names.
names are,
Which
because
one
she
it
did
was.
5 names.
Okay.
You want to just read the names again then?
Okay, I'm showing Henry. These are the yes. Henry, Hines, Roder, Jones, Everly, and Schott are yeses.
Crowell.
And Corral? Okay, that's where my mistake is, okay. And then, the noes are Woolley, Murphy, Williams, and Young. Is that correct?
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay, so let the record show that this passes. Next item is an ordinance amending section 27-118 of the code relating to parking on 11th Street.
It's the property owner at 104 East 11th Street, property owned by Nick Herrick. Requesting changes to our parking on 11th Street between Elm and Oak. This change will provide for 1 2-hour parking spot and 2 unrestricted and limited spots for anybody to park. We're requesting final reading of this ordinance. Any questions?
If there's no questions, final reading, please.
An ordinance amending section 27-118 of the general ordinances of the city of Rolla, Missouri, known as the Code of City of Rolla, Missouri, relating to parking.
Proposed orders passed.
Second?
Motion made and seconded. Roll call vote.
Schott,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Hines,
Yes.
said yes.
Yes.
Okay. Murphy,
Yes.
Henry,
Yes.
Crowell,
Yes.
Roder,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Everly,
Yes.
Williams. 11 nays.
Ordinance is approved. Next item is ordinance authorizing to enter into an agreement with Donald Magai for
At our last meeting, we awarded the bid on this project. We have 494.35. We have 3 in the ordinance. We are over budget on the particular project. I wanted to kind of just give a brief overview of what this project is. I think there was a bit of confusion of what we're doing. If I can get this to come up on the screen, Stephanie. This project is part of our 10-year bike pedestrian plan. Some of the key elements of that plan is provide handicap accessibility at all of our corners, expand our
Steve,
sidewalks.
do you have an order?
It's down, yeah.
Does it come up yet? Popped up for just a second and was gone.
Good. Faded. But right now we have 1,511 handicap ramps in Rolla. Of those, 780 are compliant. We've got 731 to go. The project will need 70 more. It also does a couple of other things. It provides sidewalks on both sides of our thoroughfares, that being the Bishop Avenue to Salem Avenue loop, all the way through. This little section here will come that loop. We'll have sidewalks on both sides, go all the way down to the signals on Kings Highway. This will completely bring sidewalks on both sides all the way from Salem to 18th. We've got sidewalks on one side, but it jumps back and forth. Part of the reason why this project went a little bit over, not only these blocks here, but we also had 2 other areas where we actually had to bring the curb and move it over to get the sidewalk in. There just wasn't enough room to get it in between narrow right-of-ways and all the other infrastructure that's in that. And this particular section is going to become too narrow to allow parking, so we're going to take parking off. So we've met with all the property owners along there to work out off-street parking for individual traffic. So that's why this project grew a little bit, but it's, like I said before, this ongoing set of projects where we're trying to establish all our handicapped accessible corners, get all those done. This also is going to include a small portion of a shared use path that will go along 6th Street, that will actually go up into the campus and down to Green Acres Park along Oak Street. So it's one segment of a much larger set of projects. Be happy to answer any questions. We are recommending that Mayor be authorized to enter into the contract.
Steve, so the 7,000 over budget, how much of that is attributable to extra work versus just the difference in budgeting versus bid?
Well, when we did this project, it was STP money where we just did an 80-20 estimate on what we wanted to accomplish. And we got into this, we actually did more work here than we originally intended to do, simply because we stretched it all the way through.
Right, that's what I'm after. How much of the 70,000 is extra work?
Well,
all of it?
All of it would be extra work.
And the off-street parking that we're providing to those residents, about how much is that costing?
I guess that's somewhere around $15,000.
Okay, so we're giving them a curb cut?
And an extra wide driveway, yeah.
Apron.
Yes.
We're not building them a parking spot, right?
No, just an apron to get them off the street, yep.
Okay. And we have 100% citizen approval for taking the parking off?
As far as I know, we've met with everyone, and I think everybody's in agreement. There's a couple of them that don't know that we really need a sidewalk there, but, you know, that's...
And then I don't know if there's rentals here or not, so are we meeting with property
A
owners?
lot of them are rentals, yes.
Hold on.
I own a house.
Hold on. Let me just the question. So are we meeting with property owners or are we meeting with residents?
The residents.
Okay, so I'll let you ask your question now.
I own a house at 1604 Holloway, and we didn't know anything about this. Is it on both sides of the street that we're going to be removing parking?
Parking's already off one side.
One side?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not sure what side 1601, is it on the east or west side?
Oh, gosh, I don't know. On the other.
East side.
Yeah.
East side.
Real bad with that.
Yeah, and I've also got drawings, or pictures. I've had complaints in the past about sight distance pulling off of the side streets. Along these side streets here, coming into place for sight distance. You very seldom ever see a car parked there. There's always seems to be one car parked there almost all the time. This drawing shows 3 cars wide. You can see that there's just barely enough room now for car parks and 2 cars to pass safely. If we take 5 feet off of it, it's going to be too narrow to allow parking. And it definitely, here's a picture looking back to the north at the stop sign, and it's difficult to see. There's actually a car sitting just ready to come into view there, just on that pickup. You can't see it at all.
I'm assuming this is Ward 1. Did either of you get feedback on it?
I've heard nothing.
Nothing?
How many houses during the driveway or the sidewalk? Is it taking it to the yard?
2.
Is it removing any yard or anything?
I'm sorry?
Are you removing the yard to create the sidewalk, or?
No, it's all in the right of way. It's just there's enough room for everything.
Okay. Expanding the apron. You're going parallel.
The right way through there is only 40 feet wide.
It's not going onto the private property?
No,
Okay.
it's very difficult to get all this done in 40 feet.
Any other questions?
Will there be, what size will the sidewalks be on each side of the street?
We're leaving the side that's on the east 4 foot wide. That's what it is now, but anything we put in new is 5 feet wide.
Okay, and so it'll be handicap accessible
Yes.
at the
Yeah,
corners?
all the corners along that entire project will be redone, but this will be new stuff. There's half a dozen new ramps in this area.
Right, no, I drove that, and it would greatly improve that area.
Yeah, it's in kind of a school route, so I think it's important that between the park, and then we also have shared use path that's ultimately planned to go from the center all the way to the university, and it'll tie right into this Hollow Street. That's where it'll begin. So I think it's important to have all those connections made.
Brian?
So, if I'm understanding this right, we're going to narrow the street, take away parking spots, and it's over budget. Is that correct?
Yes, I guess you could say that, yeah.
Okay. You know.
Over budget, they changed scope of the work.
We would have just added it back on another project next year.
And there's bus service for kids that street too. So it's really going to be important that there's no parking along there especially. You couldn't get by.
David?
I just want to make a comment that I live close to where this is going on, and I, although I don't use the ramps for handicap accessibility, I do have a stroller that I sometimes push myself in, and the number of times I go back and crossing Holloway, which can be fairly busy, fairly often based on what's not done, and in terms of the elementary school on 18th Street and the high school at 10th and Holloway, you get a lot of people, a lot of students and children going that direction for either getting home or folks going to the park. So I think it makes sense to add the sidewalks on both sides for safety.
The last time we did survey, it was 3,500 car a day, and the 85th percentile was well over the speed limit.
So if you have to cross that, you're also working with cars going too fast.
85th percentile means the property, motorists are traveling at or above.
Steve, I want to go back to the notice, and I'm a little bit torn, and I don't necessarily have an opinion just yet. But on one hand, those renters are taxpayers and citizens, so their needs and interests should be taken into consideration. But the property owner is the one making the long-time investment in that particular. So
we can certainly
I'm
make
sure we've
reached out to both.
Okay, so what is our policy on reaching out to folks? Do we do both, or we just?
Normally, who's ever living there is who we talk to. But yeah, I can see where we could also do the property owners as well. A lot of times, hard to respond because they're liable landlords, but not all.
Yeah, I think we go with the both groups. Just send them over. That's just my opinion. I mean, if they respond, they respond. If not, they had their chance. But we probably ought to just reach out to both. Any other questions? David?
I just wanted to clarify, in terms of what's going on there, just so I understand, from 18th until 14th, that section is currently, one side of the road is currently not allowed.
No parking on one side, parking is allowed on the west side.
On the west
what
side.
we're going to recommend is that we take parking on both sides once we get the project done.
Gotcha. And so based on that, you mentioned a number 2. That was two units that were interested in having the apron. Is that what you?
They did not have any access to off-street parking.
So to give them access to off-street.
Right.
Okay. They'd still be able to park on, I guess, any of the side streets.
Correct.
Right there.
Correct. And there's very little parking that takes place on there now because most people feel uncomfortable about parking.
The speed and stuff. Okay. Thank you.
Will the existing aprons be improved too on the property that's that already has driveways?
I didn't hear that first part.
Will the existing aprons be improved as you go along on that
I
side
mean,
of the street?
We're going to take all the aprons out of that whole area, and those will be redone. They are pretty steep right now.
I remember to have one more thing, Steve, which was, if for some reason we're going to 5 foot because that's regulation now. If they had been less than that, the ability to do less than that, would that have changed whether we could do the
we
parking?
really wouldn't have. No, it's just they're just so tight that really the only way to do this is pick the curb up, move it over 5 feet.
Okay. And is there?
The curb right now just shoved virtually up the property line.
With the extra time factor that we're talking about, the notifications, will that affect anything, the bid and them doing the work? I mean, it's winter.
I think so.
It wouldn't start yet.
Yeah, it's a unit price contract, so whatever we add, we already have negotiated a unit price on everything. So if we add it, we know what the price is going to be.
If there's motions for read, please.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor of the city of Rolla, Missouri to execute on behalf of the city of Rolla, Missouri a certain agreement between the city of Rolla, Missouri and Donald Magai Incorporated for STP 5200919, Project 448, ADA Accessibility Improvements, 6th and Holloway.
Close ordinance passed.
Second.
Motion made, second, roll call vote.
Rhoda?
Yes.
Powell?
Yes.
Murphy?
Yes.
Schott?
Yes.
Hines?
Yes.
Young? Young?
Yes. Yes.
Woolley?
No.
Jones?
Yes.
Everly?
Yes.
Henry?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
10 ayes and 1 nay.
Ordinance is approved. Moving on to new business, the first item is an ordinance authorizing me to execute a license agreement. Council, you have in front of you an amended version. I asked John to go back to the requester and address a couple of other issues, which he has done. So Steve, since this is the final reading.
No, it's just the first reading.
It's the first reading, okay. So go ahead.
Yeah, the bottom line is this is going to allow the developer to put the sign in front of the development as he had planned to when he was looking at doing these as private streets. This would allow him to put the sign in the island that'll be going into this area off of the roundabout. I don't have any heartburn with doing that. He's also going to maintain the island's landscaping as well as part of that agreement. Once the homeowners association is established, this license agreement would transfer to the homeowners association, and they would be required for the upkeep and the liability of that particular installation.
Jimmy Dale?
Why are we allowing that? Let me rephrase this. It's on right away. Why did we go through the sign ordinance about everybody that put signs on our right of way? What about the roundabout there? When we decided we was going to do that? There's no 18th Street up there yet.
The roundabout is
Yeah,
this is not the first time you're seeing a roundabout.
Yeah, the subdivision plat that included the same areas.
When did we
included the
vote
right
on
of way
it?
for that?
So we was going to do this.
It was part of the subdivision.
It was part of the development agreement, subdivision.
Now, the 18th Street will not be connected to this. It won't go from Micklen to Forum, but we will have the roundabout in, and then it won't have to disrupt anything when that eventually does get pushed through.
Already heard a lot of comments about this. I mean, people are not happy with that roundabout up there. It's a dead-end roundabout up there. I mean, that was only based on 18th Street coming through. It's the only reason that we're talking about a roundabout up there.
It's very seldom are people ambivalent about roundabouts. They either dislike them immensely or they like them. There's no in between.
But I think your point is fair that, you know, the sign ordinance and the existing regulations would say that you're not allowed to put signage. That's really more focusing on the temporary signage than something permanent, but that's the reason council, if this request is being granted or would be granting a license or a use of that right of way for purposes of that private sign. It normally would not be allowed with the exception of this license agreement.
Tom, we're open a can of worms for everybody else. I mean, against this. I mean, you know, we just went through this.
I'm not disagreeing with you, I'm asking because I don't know. Is this a precedent?
Actually, no.
I wouldn't think.
We've done it in the past. We've not had any licensing agreement on one.
Because I know my neighborhood has at least two of these signs that were in the right of way. Well, you're probably the only one here that was on council at the time, so.
Well, that may be too. It's still we're going against what we said, and you know, if there's some on the right of way that are that old, then they need to be removed.
They have since fallen down because our forefathers didn't put requirements in there to take care of them. So, do you have other examples where these are?
One right down for Wedgewood, island that goes back into the
Heritage Heights, that's, yeah.
Heritage Heights,
There's 3 of those signs for Heritage Heights.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, what provisions for the quality of the sign? Is there anything?
Other than the
is it
signs,
kind of?
other than the picture, no, I don't really have anything.
So are we vulnerable on that? You know, kind of what you see is what you might not.
I think
get.
we've got 30 days. We can give them 30 days notice to take it down and the license agreement. So I think that's what we have.
Okay.
Just to clarify that, at any moment, if we have an issue with it, we can ask that.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, I want to ask is just, I'm imagining, say, coming from the south, and you've got, let's say, a moving truck moving near the neighborhood, and kind of a tight turn into that spot.
Yeah, we're gonna set it way back here, so that shouldn't be a problem.
So if they needed to turn out into the far lane to then recorrect, that would work for like truck trailer or large fire.
Once they get to this point, they're gonna have already kind of lined themselves up. It's a 16-foot wide lane, so interstate's like 12, so it's a pretty good wide lane.
Brian?
I didn't understand what you were saying about we could have the sign removed if we didn't like it. What was that again?
Yeah, it says we can it's turnable upon 30 days notice by the city.
Well, that doesn't seem fair. We say, yes, you can build a sign. They spend, without building the sign, they say, don't like that. I mean, how is that fair?
What if there's a problem with it, or
Protects the city.
right?
It's our property.
Right.
Yeah, but we're giving.
I think it's more the
permission to
case if the sign tier, more so than, the nature of this development, I don't think a lousy sign is going to be put up there.
I think it's keep that in on years road. If like something happens where you do need to take it down, we have the ability to do that.
Yes, I believe so.
And really, this 30-day notice is provided, but that really doesn't give us staff authority. We, for some reason, aren't happy with it.
The
council to, it could be that it was hit,
You
damaged, or
shouldn't
something.
be capricious. I mean, you want to have this possible.
Yeah.
Is the developer good with this?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's no other questions for reading?
An ordinance authorizing the mayor of the city of Rolla, Missouri to execute on behalf of the city of Rolla, Missouri, a certain agreement between the city of Rolla, Missouri and St. Maria's LLC.
Next item is an ordinance authorizing me to execute a sewer use agreement with Hartford.
When Hartman first came to the city, we did not have our pre-treatment program in place. We've been trying to work through that with DNR for the past year. Still don't have it in place. We think we're getting close. We're still 3 or 4 months away because we haven't got DNR. We have to publish that, go on public review and comment period, and then it comes back again to council for approval. That's one reason. The second reason is they've gone through some transitional people with the engineering staff out there, and they got kind of left holding the bag with the work we've been doing to try to relate how much water is actually coming out of the factory. A lot of their water comes back in product or out in product. But water comes in doesn't really go out to the sewer, and so we negotiated a year's contract. We think what we're charging them is equitable and fair. We upped it a little bit to adjust for the rate increase, and we're also going to do testing on their discharge once a month, like the 12 testing. We just in our normal BOD and the solid testing we do those every week for each plant. It's very routine. They're going to bring the sample to us, so we're not going to have to go and collect it. They're going to actually bottle it up and bring it to our plant. So we're going to see where they're at with terms of BOD and suspended solids. That's how our surcharge kick in based on how much BOD and suspended solids. I think that our 32.2 probably includes a pretty healthy amount for BOD and suspended solids. We don't really know what that is. Just to give us another year to determine that. And it's very difficult to measure open channel flow, water going out of a plant that goes out of the tank into the. There's no way to really meter that accurately. So we're trying to have a system where we can do that. This will be tested on the inside the whole tank before it goes out into our system. So we're recommending that we do when we did the original contract, we left a caveat in there that we could extend it for another year. We're recommending that we do that.
Do you reserve the right to go in and take a water sample whenever you want?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And they've been very good to work with. They've just gone through kind of a staff turnover in that particular area of the plant, and we're kind of breaking a new people. I think that coupled with the fact we haven't been able to get our pre-treatment program approved, and these will be on the program. those two reasons, we think we ought to just give them another year, and then we should be able to come up with something more concrete by this time, next time. Hopefully before.
No further questions, first reading, please.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor of the city of Rolla, Missouri to execute on behalf of the city of Rolla, Missouri, a certain agreement between the city of Rolla, Missouri and Hartman U.S.
Next item is a resolution authorizing me to enter into an intergovernmental cooperation agreement. Chief?
Good evening. What we're asking for is, as the mayor said, a resolution authorizing us to have Phelps County Emergency Service Board be the liaison for all the departments that are entering into this agreement for the new computer-aided dispatching and report system that we have.
I asked John, but we didn't have the time to finish the question and answer. Can you walk us through how our share was developed?
Yes, sir.
The methodology?
Well, first off, the way that they divided it initially was by the size of the department and the number of calls. Now, we are slightly higher than the county, so our share was a little bit higher, but then we also added some to it that the county did. First off, we have computers in our cars, so we pay a lot for computer dispatching, the ability to write the reports from the computers in the cars to access the reports in the cars. So that stuff raised our cost quite a lot. But then I also added mobile ticketing and barcode scanning for our evidence room.
What?
Evidence? Yeah, we're going to do barcode scanning instead of filling out evidence sheets. It's all going to be on a scanner. So those things added to the price a little bit. But what substantially added to the price was the computers in our cars. That was a lot. And then we have a lot more records, and we have to do more to have all our old records transferred to the new system. I think county was, if I'm not mistaken, 17,000 or so, and we were about 25,000 just to have all the records transferred, which was.
Does the county have computers in their cars?
They do, but they're the computers that they have in their cars, from talking to the sheriff, they're going to be taking them out because they don't function properly. They're older. They've been in there for several years, and they've got a system to where when you pull into the station, it's supposed to automatically download everything in the computer, and that system doesn't really work that well. So I don't know if they're talking about getting new ones or not, but I know that the ones that they've got right now, they're not having any of this hardware put on them.
So if they get those computers?
It will have to be added at their cost later.
Okay. That was the answer I was looking for. I'll stop there. Any other questions?
Mayor, I might just add that if the council approves this tonight, this is what the Phelps County Emergency Services Board agreed to finance for institutions, and we'll bring that back as a separate financing agreement. I think a 5-year payment on that $187,000.
Is the financing in this agreement?
Financing is not, it's just that we will pay for it, but the financing itself is not in this agreement.
Okay. Are we going to have a separate legal document?
Yeah.
Thank you.
It says it references Exhibit A, that not completed yet.
I'm assuming Section 5 is where that would be
A1.
addressed.
This is A1. So that just.
Okay, so you're going to have a separate agreement? Fine.
Yeah, like we did the generator.
Okay.
Brought that back.
There's no other questions. Is there a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made in second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Thank you.
Are you going to read the resolution?
Yeah.
We'll do that?
A resolution authorizing the mayor of the city of Rolla, Missouri to execute on behalf of the city of Rolla, Missouri, an intergovernmental cooperation agreement with other Phelps County's agencies for the purchase and use of computer-aided dispatch and records management software.
David, would you like to make a motion?
So moved.
Motion made in second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Moving on to claims and/or fiscal transaction. The first is a motion transferring funds from the park sales tax account to the operating account.
As part of each year, fiscal year end for audit purposes, we transfer money from the appreciation account to cover the operating deficit. In the agenda item or the agenda packet is the breakdown as far as operating expenditures, capital, and general fund transfer. So for 2018, it's requested to transfer $427,500 from the depreciation reserve and equipment replacement account into the operation. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Stephanie? Yeah.
Well, I'll just cover the overall operation of the center or what?
2018 covers operations, so that staffing, utilities, all that part of the operation expense on the cover sheet. The capital equipment that brings back to purchase, and then the operating transfer general fund of $72,000 that's approved during the budget.
You're going to take all that out of our fund that we already all up, and now we're depleted to nothing almost.
I'm taking the difference that's not covered by revenues, yes. The $427,500.
And how much is the difference?
$427,500. That leaves a cash balance of $1.9 million at the end of this transfer.
Mm-hmm. This is a joke. We continue to do this and deplete that fund. When we set it up, Mayor, and you was there and I was there when we agreed upon it. And we had almost, what, $5 million in there?
Yeah, a little more.
Around $7 million.
And that was for major expenses that happened, like roofs or air conditioning and
And it was
major
to
repairs.
smooth out off years as well.
Well, I know, but it's ridiculous that we're having to take this fund and deplete it. So if we have a major, what are we going to do? We're going to just let the building go? Huh?
We are working on a long-term solution.
We had a solution before.
Okay.
And then everybody decided, then everybody else decided that they wanted to take the money out of our fund.
What was the solution?
What was the solution? We didn't have a solution. That was supposed to be for majors.
It was to be for major expenses, potential expansion, smoothing out the off years. Yes, yes, it was. The other thing I may add is that fund was never set up for the general fund transfer.
No, it wasn't.
So
Definitely
we've
wasn't.
transferred, I guess, $1 million maybe?
Yeah.
We transferred $1 million to City Hall that was never, ever in those agreements, because that came after. Just for other council folks, we can go back to when the public was approached, but at that point in time, there was no transfer to City Hall. As a result of an audit, not necessarily to this, but that audit captured required us to have the methodology in place to take City Hall expenses and allocate them to each and every operating division by size of that division. I think it's basically by head count, right? Salary?
No, it's by
Budget.
expenditures.
By
It's
budget.
it's the page in the budget that's the transfer calculation sheet.
Right. So there's well over $1 million that came to City Hall that was never envisioned to come City Hall. Steve?
Stephanie, can you speak a little bit? I know this is higher than normal years, but was there anything else that happened this year that may have pushed this number higher than normal?
It's actually very if you look at 2017, and if you've been to the rec board meetings, for those that have not, there's been a long discussion on collections and different things like that. When you add collections to the books, it actually increases revenues. When you write them off, it decreases revenues. So in 2017, it was increased by $26,000. So if you add $26,000 to the $330,000, that's going to give you about the amount that you would have. You take the $26,000 off of the 2018 number, that's going to put you around the $400,000 number, which is comparable to 2017.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Quick question. So if we approve this, then the money left in the fund at this rate would last about 3 years, is that right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
We have to
Three and
keep a safety net for capital expenditures. We've always thought $1 $1 million, $1.5 million. So I would tell you that we have less than 4 years.
It wasn't just for expenses, Mary, it was for the possibilities of expansion in other things or major projects that we wanted to do. And that's why we agreed to take that excess tax that we had and put it in this fund and not allow it not to be.
Yep, you're correct.
And then when the park tax didn't pass, we went to this, we'll start paying.
Well, we transfer Monday.
Yeah, we've never hit 100%.
There's never been a year, to my knowledge, where we transfer.
That's correct. And in addition, we also used to transfer money from the sales tax account, which is now changed over to the Parks Fund, about $300,000 per year to put in the depreciation account when the expenses were covered. That was 5 years of operations, 5 to 7 years. That's not taking place whenever the deficit became greater.
But we're 15, 16 years in with the center, and it's done somewhere between 78% and maybe a high of about 89% of its operating recapture. And when we had $6-7 million in reserves, that's been dwindled down because of the transfers, a couple of capital expenditures every year, and because of that operating subsidy or transfer from the original sales tax to the tune of $200,000 to $250,000 for just the operating portion of it. So we've got our work for us.
Better shut it down one. It come to that over the years. And we're going to go on and go on, but that sales tax, that park tax that we had before, our sales tax we had coming in, it was pretty lucrative for us. And we had a plan that didn't materialize.
Yeah, and that's why we sunsetted that first sales tax, that 15 years, and it built up that reserve, but it didn't provide an ongoing operating support. Yep, you're right.
But we had some that would go along with it. Bought here and down. They blamed us because we wouldn't raise our prices on the center, and that was a bunch of crap too.
If there's no other questions, is there a motion to transfer the fund from the escrow account to the operating account?
I so move.
Second.
Motion made in second. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? Just one no?
No.
2 noes? 2 noes. Next item is a resolution revising the fiscal 2018 budget. Before you get into the, can you just review with council why these adjustments are made? They sort of look like they're after the fact, but there's a reason for that.
Yes. If you look at the cover sheet that I have in there, Chapter 67 of the Missouri Revised State Statutes says that expenditures actually spent cannot exceed the budgeted amounts that we put. So we use the budget when we meet, we do the budget workshop, we establish our budget, and we go from there. What we do not budget for is depreciation expense because that does not reflect on cash. So we don't want to deplete cash by $1 million or whatever that would be, because that's not a cash item, it's an audit entry, it's an accounting entry we make at the end of every year. Also, last year in 2017, GASB has put a pension liability that we are now required to put on our books. We don't budget for that either because that is a number that is required by GASB standards but not affecting a cash balance. So what we do is when we come to the close of the fiscal year, which we have done, we're getting prepared for the audit, we come back and bring these budget adjustments to council to put us in compliance with the state statute, Chapter 16. And that's what these are for.
Council have any questions at the top end or any of the line items? Motion made and seconded. Read the resolution, please.
A resolution authorizing budget adjustments for the fiscal year beginning on October 1st, 2017, and appropriating funds pursuant thereto.
Is there a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Resolution is approved. Citizen communications, is there anyone that would like to speak to City Council? If not, Mayor, City Council comments. I have a question for Steve. I think I know the answer. Our new sign ordinance. There are still some remnant political signs around town. Vote for me in November 2nd or whatever it is. How long are they going to stay?
Content neutral, no time limit.
Can stay up forever.
They can stay.
That's a,
Okay. So there's clearly a rather large one over by Benson,
Bennett Square.
Bennett Square.
at Fifth and Salem.
So would it be unreasonable, or how would you feel knocking on the door and say, election's over? How about taking it down?
I'd feel comfortable asking them, but I don't think we can mandate it under the new ordinance.
I don't think we can mandate it, so I think somebody has to ask. So if you feel comfortable, ask, fine. If I've got to write a letter to Mr. Mayhew, I would be glad to do that as well.
I'll handle it.
Okay.
Well, just so you know, I sent Representative Mayhew an email today saying, hey, with an image and said, you know, the election's passed. It's proper as long as the property owner sent that. But know that was the intent to keep this up. Yeah, so I just asked if you had any objection to it. So let's get a response, and then we can reach out to that property owner.
Okay, very good.
I'm sure he wants his expensive sign back for next time.
That's what I suggested. You might.
He's already campaigned for next year.
My guess is they just forget where they placed it. So.
Good with that.
Okay.
Any other comments by City Council?
I have one.
Yes.
I drove by the dinosaur park and saw the new dog park fence, and it looks very nice. I don't know when it's going to open, but and I don't have a dog, so I'm not going to use it, but it looked really good. Great.
Floyd, you want to give an update on that whole project?
Not going to sound really good.
Oh, stay over there.
That's not Jeremy. The fence is basically done. We've got a couple of things we've got to sign off on that tomorrow. Actually, we went out there today and walked it. The benches have been ordered. Probably take another week or so to get those in. We've been working on our rule signs and our large dog and our small dog area that will have the signs on the weights and height limits. And then Kent and the citizens group have been working on the signage for the memorials, for the different designations and who's sponsoring what for all of that. So our plan is to have probably an actual ribbon cutting, grand opening, whatever, sometime in the spring when all that's finished, put together. And we've still got some groundwork to do there as well, but the water fountains are in.
And the bricks, when do the bricks go in?
The bricks are in now.
So,
still selling them, though.
I'm sorry?
Memorial bricks, if you're talking about those.
Yeah, I'm saying, could people still buy bricks?
Yes, you can still see Kent, because we talked about that today. He's still got some places
Okay,
that
did he give it
still have an
a rough
interest.
time frame when?
I'd say it'd probably still be good for another maybe month or so. Sooner the better, obviously.
Okay.
Because he wants to finish that part of it
RD,
up.
did you buy a brick yet? Buy a brick yet? Not yet. Any questions for Floyd?
Get better, Floyd.
Thank you, Floyd. Hope you feel better. Any other questions from City Council? Comments for the good of the order?
The Missouri House is being sworn in tomorrow, everybody's knowledge. Jeff City.
Our John Butts had a family member, right?
Yeah, I have a brother who I still can't believe decided to run for office and won, so he'll be sworn in. But also, all of council is invited. Just you might recall seeing that. I think Representative Mayhew brought that by. It's actually open to all of the public throughout the state of Missouri. But Wednesday evening is the legislative ball.
Black tie affair, huh?
Black tie affair.
It says optional, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm just wearing a suit.
It's your brother. Come on.
He's wearing a tux. I'm wearing a suit.
A reception in the rotunda after the swearing in.
Jimmy Dale?
Swearing at.
I'd just like to thank everybody that donated to the cops, Shop with the Cop We had an outstanding performance over there from all the law enforcement people around. We had 200 kids signed up for this, and we've raised the fee from $75 to $100 a kid. And most of us, when we took them through, we went over. We weren't too good on it. Kids didn't mind. Had a good time, and we really enjoyed it. And I really want to thank you people who donated.
Great cause. If there's no other, we have one item for closed session dealing, I'm sorry?
Two items.
Two items, on, both under real estate. Is there a motion to go?
So moved.
Second. Motion made and second. Roll call vote.